generate content for your sites directly and automatically using the AI writing assistant. So it's really simple. To write your content, just click on the AI assistant. This will take you to this page. Here, you'll be able to select different types of documents that you can generate with AI. So here, before selecting a document, you'll simply find a sidebar that highlights certain features. Obviously, all the content you have already generated will be organized, so you can actually link content to a domain. For example, here you can select content already generated by domain, which allows you to sort things a bit. And of course, there's a search engine that lets you find articles or pages, in any case, content that you have generated. You have access to your templates, since of course you can save your model configurations, etc. So this allows you to create templates to save time when you have preset or pre-selected configurations like this, and of course your content, the page we're currently on. You can also generate a blank page, an empty piece of content, where you will fill in everything yourself, set all your options and so on. Next, you'll have presets like templates, such as a blog post, for example, which you can also work on directly, unlike the Autopilot, which is configured once and then generates articles automatically. On your sites, this happens on a recurring basis, but here we're going to be more precise. You'll be able to work directly within your content. So you'll find blog posts, templates for news, discover, cooking recipes, comparison tools, Amazon with Amazon Affiliate. You'll be able to directly enter your affiliate ID and not necessarily your KPI, which is pretty convenient, as well as product sheets. Amazon comparison tools, simulators, top lists, guides, and of course many more templates will be coming very soon. This is designed to save you time when writing your content. Here, for example, we're going to choose a blog post, something very standard since we'll find pretty much the same settings. So here, quite simply, we'll select blog post. So to generate our article, here we've selected a blog post. Here we're going to select the language we want to work in, so mainly the language of your website. So you have access to about 30 languages. Here we'll stick with French. The target query here, we're going to enter expatriate in Mauritius, the complete guide to a successful move. And so we're simply going to generate content here based on the title of this article. Our very first configuration has just been successfully generated right here, quite simply and straightforwardly. So now we effectively have the complete title and all the available options to meticulously work with right here at our fingertips. Of course, you can use a template. However, if you've already saved templates, you simply have a list here and it will appear. In fact, it will fill in or pre-fill based on, for example, your AI models, etc. All of your generation options. In this particular case, we are starting completely from scratch, so we will meticulously set up and then subsequently generate this entire article together, step by step. So the first thing here is the model selection. You have all the text models here: OpenAI, Mistral, Anthropic, Google with Gemini, DeepSeek, etc., including all the models like O4, O3, O1, GPT-5, and so on. So here, we'll choose GPT-5 Mini for the first generation. Keep in mind that you can change it along the way. If you want to modify your article, all you have to do, as we'll see later, is select another model and generate again. So you can start an article with GPT-5 and then edit it, why not, with Anthropic if you need to. Same thing. So regarding images, the image models, here with OpenAI, with GPT images, Stable Diffusion, also all the existing versions, Ideogram, Flux with all the versions of Flux Grok. And again, Gemini, of course, which is available once you've selected your text and image models. You'll then be able to associate the content you're creating with a domain. This will allow for two things. First, it lets you gather enough data to create internal linking, which is quite important. And then, of course, it allows you to automatically post it to your site once it's generated and associated. The target query here is moving to Mauritius. As for the language, we've already pre-selected it. Just in case you didn't choose the right one, you can change it here as well as the writing profile. So in this particular instance, for example, I'm going to carefully select my specific site right here, and then subsequently, I will proceed to choose a suitable and qualified writer from the available options. So here, if you already have a writer created from the AI writer tool, and so if a WordPress profile has been created, because here obviously we'll mainly be working from WordPress, you can simply select the writer along with the custom instructions you've set, the name and so on. The style and other settings will allow you to influence the text a bit. Here, for example, I'm going to remove it for the simple reason that if you don't associate a writer, you can still, on the fly, assign a writer here if you haven't selected one. So here, for example, I'll put Fred, profession, I'll put tourism agency. There you go. Writing style, we'll choose jovial. And then you can also add custom instructions here. Keep in mind that from a writer's profile, and therefore a WordPress profile, you already have custom instructions. You also have custom instructions from custom.ia. So here, it's at the site level. You can set instructions in a very broad way at the site level, or more targeted at the profile level. And then even at the project or content level that you're working on, which really allows you to personalize what you're doing. Next, regarding the scraper, here are the default search intents. So basically, what is it? We're going to send this query, move to Limoris, the essential expat guide directly. So from the query, obviously in Google, we'll retrieve the top 5 results. Plus, of course, the SERP, and we'll collect all this data to feed into the dataset. In fact, this will be used to generate your article. So basically, we're going to scrape your competitors and take all that content, put it directly into the Automatics algorithm, which will then allow us to do this. Have it work gently, fine-tune the content a bit to ensure you have relevant elements for generating your content. There you go. Relying on data is always very important. However, if you already have your own sources, you simply need to uncheck the search intents here, which is the automatic method, and then enter your custom URLs here. If you already have competitors or sites to scrape, you can enter your URLs here. You can add several, and in fact, this will simply replace the search intents with your URLs. So just like with the intents, we will retrieve the data from these URLs and process it directly in the automatic algorithm. And this valuable data will then be meticulously used to accurately generate relevant content precisely based on your specific query. Here, brief keyword. Since we've already entered it earlier here, the target query, a generation brief has been created. So in this case, it was also generated completely automatically based on the search intent. So if you change the intents and add URLs, remember to regenerate the brief here so that it's taken into account in the brief. The new data you've added, otherwise by default, it's simply your competitors in the Google SERPs. So the top 5 results here, the generation brief then. So that's what's generated based on what we've gathered. Of course, you'll be able to interact here and come in here as well. Add custom instructions that will be used for generating your content in addition to the writer, etc. Next, here we retrieve people and entities, recurring keywords, again, based on intent, mentioned brands if there are any. As for the article structure here, again, an automatic structure has been generated. So here you click on edit structure and you'll have access to the structure. HN meaning the structure, the outline of your article, and you'll be able to work on it if needed. So by default here, we'll pull in H2s, H3s, and so on. That's how we'll build an outline. Again, this will depend on the intent. If your top 5 competitors in the SERPs have a common pattern, we'll try to match that common pattern. For example, if we see that by imitation they have 5 or 6 H2S, we'll try to stay within that average to maintain a similar intent. For example, the same goes for the rest, like images and so on. It's important to match the search intent because since we're retrieving it, it's always good to make use of it. So here we're going to retrieve an article outline like this with, in this case, H2S and H3S. You can modify them, you can generate others, you can automatically add headings. Here we'll leave it as is, but basically that's it. And of course you can manually edit, add, and so on here. You can even regenerate a structure directly. If you want to try a different style of structure with maybe different headings, you simply click here on regenerate structure and it will generate a new outline of headings for you. In terms of content options, you'll have the usual choices. Do you want an introduction, a brief, lists, tables, FAQs with questions and answers, and the toolbox, which we'll look at later since you'll be able to interact with the generated content. So basically, this will allow you to generate tools directly within your content, like simulators, comparison tools, and other interactive features that help achieve really good retention, especially on your page. Here, formatting options like bold text and emojis. And for media, if you want to add YouTube videos and images, of course, you can insert them directly into the content. Here, 3 images within the content with personalized instructions for the images. If you want, for example, black and white images or anything else, that's no problem. And then, of course, when it comes to links, internal links, external links, and Amazon affiliate. If you want to automatically integrate Amazon products, you simply check here, Amazon products. You can enter the affiliate ID here. Now, if you've already set it at the site level, you won't need to enter it again, since you can attach an Amazon affiliate ID directly to a site, and so by selecting the site, it will be applied automatically. By default, you'll have it here. Next, of course, the store. Again, if you haven't filled it in beforehand, you can enter it directly at the writer level. Once you have meticulously set up your content precisely like this, you can then simply and easily start generating the complete and comprehensive article by just clicking the button. You can save the template, of course. Otherwise, you just need to follow the instructions here to generate the content. So our content has just been generated. Here you'll find the table of contents. If you want to go directly to the sections, you can do so here, or we can hide it. So what do we have? For now, we have the title. So we have what we asked for, a brief introduction, which summarizes all the key points of the article as well. Next, we'll see the images we requested, quite simply. Internal links, external links, in this case, external links. Images. Here, you can edit prompts directly, and you also have access to the palette. So you can also modify them. Here is all our text, and here the emojis have been respected. And there's also a YouTube video here, which is great. It's dedicated to Mauritius, so that's perfect as well. And the FAQ here, you can interact with the FAQ if you want, H2, H3, H4. The org schema is also taken into account here as well. Next, on the side, you have a monitor. SEO. So what is the SEO monitor for? Quite simply, we scraped the SERP, and by scraping the SERP, we were basically able to create averages based on the search intents. So for example, if our top 5 results have an average of 2,000 words, then we will generate a 2,000 word text to stay aligned with the intent. And we'll keep it that way for media, content structures, word count, reading time, images, and videos. For example, we see that there is an average of 1 video, the distribution of headings, so H2, H3, H4, keywords, etc. So the scoring will simply be based on your competitors. So the higher your score, the closer you are to the top 5 for your query. It's actually a pretty interesting indicator. So now that we've generated our content here, we're going to generate our featured image. So quite simply, here we're going to click, and you have the choice between generating an AI image automatically, directly based on your article's title, generating an AI image from a prompt. If you want to enter the prompt yourself to generate your image, you can do that, or simply searching for an image on Pixabay, Pexels, or Unsplash, if you prefer to work directly with royalty-free images. So in this case here, we'll leave GPT-1 medium selected, since I could change the model and, for example, generate an image with Flux. No problem at all, since I can switch models at any time, whether it's for text or images. In this case here, we'll stick with GPT-1 medium and simply generate an AI image automatically based on the title. While it's generating here, we'll let it work from your text. You can interact within the text. So quite simply, you have what's called a wheezing that allows you, well, simply here to interact. If you want, for example, to write directly, to add text manually, you can do it without any problem. Otherwise, you have modules. Here, what do the modules correspond to? For example, generating titles. If you want to add sections, for example, you can add titles here, H2, H3, H4, which will take into account the text above and the content below, so as not to generate just anything like that right in the middle of the text. So there is still a contextual connection with each generation depending on where you are when generating text. For example, if I come here, it will take into account all the text above and of course all the text below. Here you can generate a title, you can generate text, so you can keep writing if you want to continue writing. A paragraph, generate a new paragraph. So here again, the context of the already generated content is obviously taken into account. A complete section, in this case H2, H3, etc. Writing with AI, here you can simply enter your prompt and generate whatever you want by putting a custom prompt directly into this section. In terms of elements, you can also add tables, lists, or even HTML. So you can directly insert HTML into this section. Here you have the toolbox. This is the tool that allows you to generate elements and interactive tools directly within your content. So here you can use the toolbox and you'll have options like a randomizer, which could be a simulator, a comparator, a quiz, a converter, etc. Otherwise, you can also directly select a chart, a comparison table, a timeline, a stream map, a quiz, an infographic, a simulator, a calculator, a converter, or even customize your own. And so here as well, you'll be able to take control and prompt the tool you want to use. For example, you might say, I want a small flight comparator, and you can generate something pretty cool like that. So here, our image is generated. So we're going to start a generation. We'll stick with the 5 mini, but here too, you can switch if you want to generate something more powerful with GPT-5 or with Claude 4.5. You can do that without any problem. All you have to do here is simply select your model and then just generate whatever you want to create. So in the toolbox here, we're going to create a simulator. That's it. It's as simple as that. And then we'll just wait for it to generate. There you go. So another simulator has been generated here. It's obviously in a little container like this, which you won't have. Of course, on your site, you can view the HTML code, the preview. And so here you go. We have a budget estimate with the duration. It's a little interactive form like this. So it's quite interesting, you see. Here, the estimation result with no. It's quite an interesting tool. So you can do a lot of things with it, including customizing them and choosing the right visa. It actually allows you to have interactive tools that help retain users on your pages a bit. It lets people play around a little, imagine themselves in different scenarios, especially, for example, with comparison tools or simulators. It's quite interesting. It makes a nice change from just having text, always having to read, you see. So this one is actually pretty robust. We have quite a few things like tax simulators, etc. And knowing that the data was also retrieved directly from Google services, potentially we have really good data on this. So we have the right information to create simulators like this. So we even end up with a little converter for the Mauritian rupee between the euro, for example, and the local currency in Mauritius, etc. So it's pretty cool. Then still in the features, you can obviously add images. Here, either with AI, knowing that you can also switch models. If you want to work with Flux, you can, there's no problem at all. Or simply add an image from Pixabay, etc. With a search engine here, which allows you to type in a search, and depending on the available image banks, you'll be able to retrieve images like that and integrate them directly. And of course, YouTube videos can be added automatically or manually by simply entering the URL, and it will be integrated directly into your content. Let me go back to the image here. So if you don't like the image, like here we see it's a drawing, you might say, yeah, it's not great. Well, here you can edit it, regenerate it, or add an image. Again, using image banks, no problem at all. You have full control, including, of course, over existing images. You can regenerate everything without any issue. Once that's done, you validate your article. If you want to post it, you can simply either download it if you're not on WordPress, or you can copy the prompt. So basically, we'll let you retrieve this content and send it directly into tools like Vibe, Code, or Typebolt. V0 lovable. If, for example, you want to optimize a page with text content, etc., well, you can simply copy the prompt and paste it directly into the dedicated prompt field of Lovable, Bolt, or any other tool, and it will generate it like that. A dedicated page and the content you generated will appear directly in the pages created within these tools. Obviously, publishing on WordPress, so you'll select the site beforehand, of course, that matches the content you've created. And then here as well, you have the WordPress settings, the type of post, so if you want a page, an article, etc. Next, you can set whether you want to publish it immediately or schedule it for a specific date, like if you want to post it on the 24th and so on. So here you can select a date, there you go, and publish it or save it as a draft for review, etc. So you have control, just like with the WordPress tools, quite simply. As for the author, if you haven't selected one beforehand, you can add them here. But if you have already selected a writer, they will automatically be set as the default author. So here you simply find what you see in other automation tools, especially Autopilot. Here it automatically associates posts with the correct categories using AI based on the title. So either you check them manually here, or you can link them directly, generate tags or labels right here where it will do it automatically, or you can add them manually. Generate a title tag and SEO, why not, and generate a meta description. So either you enter them manually, and if you don't put anything by default, it will use the title you generated. Otherwise, right here, it will simply generate them automatically. Once this is done, you click on Publish, and your article will simply be published on your site with the configurations you requested. That's it for the AI assistant.